Hello and very warm welcome to all of you to this virtual conference organized by the Economic Times in partnership with Zoom. My name is Mukbil Ahmed. I am the executive editor at the Economic Times ETCIO. First of all, I wish and hope that all of you are safe and secure. These are indeed highly uncertain times. Now, the theme of the conference today is transitioning to a digital-first enterprise in a post-pandemic era. Now, we see today that digital transformation is accelerating, particularly after the pandemic. Now, while going digital was viewed as an option earlier, today it is not a choice anymore. Now, for most companies in most industries, digital is seen as the primary business model. Well, this shift affects almost everything, including customer experience, user expectations, revenue generation, and of course, an enterprise's long-term success. Now, with these words, I would request our first speaker of the day, Samir Raje, to deliver the keynote. He will speak on transforming to a digital-first enterprise. Samir is General Manager and Head for India and SAARC region for Zoom. He joined Zoom in April 2019 to kickstart and grow its operations in the country. And he is responsible for leading strategic initiatives, operations, pre-sales, sales, customer success, support, and general management functions. Prior to Zoom, Samir was at West Unified Communications for about 7 years as Director Sales India and Director Inside Sales Small and Medium Businesses APAC. He charted the journey of increasing West Corporation's market share across APAC countries. Now, without much ado, I would like to hand over the baton to Samir. Over to you, Samir.
Thank you so much, Mukbil. It's a pleasure to be here. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and customers, partners, friends, and hello to everybody. Well, as I said, it's indeed a pleasure to meet you all. And, we just saw something about Formula One using Zoom. How cool is that, right? I mean, it was such a sensational thing. I mean, I don't know if you're a big sports fan or if a Formula One fan. I'm not a Formula One fan, but I'm a MotoGP fan, by the way.
I am.
Right, you are. Oh, all right, fantastic. So, it's so cool when you see, all these Formula One folks talking about, using Zoom within their environment or leveraging Zoom as a technology, as a platform for collaboration and doing some amazing stuff out there. And that's what we are going to talk about, right? And that's the theme, and that's what we are going to talk about. I'm going to talk about digitization and the key to your customer experience transformation. Customer does include employees also. Let me say that. I may not say employee experience on one hand, but CX and EX go hand in hand. That is needless to say. So without, let's begin our conversation on that one. If you can see my slides, as Mukbil mentioned, I'm Samir, and I head the general management functions for India and SAARC in the country for Zoom Video Communications. Let us speak about a little bit. In the last 1 year plus or 2 years almost, we've been we saw, we went through a lot as a humanity, and we experienced a lot of things. And in that experience, we actually started working from home, we started working from offices, and we started working from anywhere. Now, why am I speaking about all this? We all know this, right? And it has been repeated like a broken record by everybody. Everybody's talking about hybrid work environment. Everybody's talking about work from home. Everybody's talking about the feasibility of hybrid environment, feasibility of work from home. Is organization going to be successful? Are we going to get back to work? And everybody is speaking about that. Well, you know what? I'm not here to spread more information and more knowledge about that, because you all are yourself firsthand experiencing that. I'm here to talk about something else. And what has happened in the last 2 years when we learned to work from anywhere, home, office, and anywhere, it has completely transformed our experience. And when I say experience, it is not about working from home. It is about how we consume our services, how we buy stuff, how we sell stuff, how we interact with our customers, how we do business, whether it is for internal, whether it is for external, whether it is an organization, whether it is an individual. People are more comfortable ordering food online. People are more comfortable ordering, groceries and their daily stuff online rather than going to a huge store and waiting in line or waiting in the huge crowd out there. And our friends at Forbes, they say that with the acceleration of digitization caused by pandemic and the consumerization of business tools, buyers are now more independent, demanding, and even empowered to switch services. That's a fact. Now, if you're an organization, or if you're a developer, or if you're working for an organization that's providing a service or even a product, and if the experience isn't up to the standard, customers will switch. Customers will move from one platform to another. If we do that as ourselves as individual customers, right? And that's a fact. And the sad part is customers often react more to a friction than to a moment of seamless performance. That is, if you experience a good service, you presume good services has to be delivered, part and parcel of life. But if it is an poor service, it's a friction somewhere during the buying process or during the interaction process, or even if you're an employee and you are unhappy with the environment, if there is a friction, you are unable to work, the tools provided to you are not good enough to work from home, boom. What happens? That unpleasant experience is nearly impossible to overlook. Customers go to social media. We now started seeing LinkedIn to be used as a for customer issues and so on and so forth. Twitter has always been so angry, where people tend to go to Twitter, seek for help, and vent out their frustrations. That happens, and so do employees. Glassdoor reviews, they are always there. One bad experience, be it exit, be it employment, be it continuous work, be it leave approvals, be it onboarding, anything of that sort, unpleasant experience is there. The moment it is there, one single small moment is enough to flare up things. But a good experience is often forgotten. And that's the unfortunate part of it. And that's the impact of digitalization, what we've seen in the last 2 years. Be it the way we consume, the way we interact, or the way we employ, it's no longer about hybrid work. It's no longer about work from home. It is all about digitalization and the impact of digitalization of how we behave and how we consume. So the question arises then in the mind is, how do I transform my employee experience? How do I transform my customer experience, right? It's very different. And let me give you an example. And I meet a lot of senior folks from the industry like yourselves and a lot of government officials. Everyone has today a unique challenge. Some of the government officials today are wondering how to prevent cyber attacks. They are wondering how to prevent a senior citizen who is now on a social media from getting duped for making donations. The money that they have saved their entire life, somebody coming in and saying, hey, you know what, why don't you donate for a good cause, or why don't you donate for temples, or why don't you donate for puja? You really don't know what's happening at the back end. Somebody comes in and walks out with the money. Similarly, there's some other batch of people who are worried about children who lost 2 years of their lives in not going to school, but using only digital mediums. They spend 2 years not even writing in their notebooks, and these guys are playing games. They are on social media, and young children like in 5th standard, 4th standard, 3rd standard, they are worried about those children and how the social media and rest of the things has an impact on them. So is it necessary for us to transform the customer experience, the employee experience? Of course, yes, because just imagine those kids who are today, who've not even gone to school for 1 year or 2 years. They are not used to it. They are only used to the digital medium. Just imagine what happens when they come to the workforce. The senior education kids, such as from colleges and all, which will now be getting to work. Just imagine what will happen. So it's a very unique situation to be in. And when you look at that, you are no longer working in place. You're working in space. That's the point, because people don't want to go to work. You know what? I have a meeting, and for which I need to travel 2 hours from one end of Bangalore to another end of Bangalore. Well, I don't want to do that. I'm simply resisting the meeting because I can very well do that virtually and save on time 4 hours of travel back and forth for a half an hour meeting or a 1 hour meeting. How fruitless is that? So suddenly the work is no longer a place, it's a space. Everything is happening in space. And how do you do that? You do that where you prepare, you meet, you share, you ideate, you integrate, you document, you interact with your customers, you interact with your employees everywhere in this space. And I'm going to share a classic example out here with you and what has happened with me personally in the past few weeks. Being a consumer myself, I went ahead and placed an order for a product, which was, okay, a good company, a new age digital company. I've been hearing a lot about them in the social media, and I said, let me give it a try. Why not? And I placed the order. The moment I placed an order, they said that time to ship, almost 20 days, time to ship. I said, okay, I can live with that. I'm not in a hurry. After 20 days, I didn't hear about the product getting shipped. So after 22 or 23 days, I contacted them. There was a link saying the contact support, and I contacted them. The support executive asked, so what is this regarding? I said, this is regarding the order which I placed and it has not been shipped. Oh, it is about your shipment. I will connect you to another division. I said, please, I don't need that. Can you please help me out? I said, sorry, sir. Other division will call you out if you don't want to reach out to them. I said, okay. Other division called me up. They said it has not been shipped. It is with our partner. It is with our vendor. And we are not sure when it can be shipped. It will give us 2 more days. I said, I'm sorry, not 2 more days. Please cancel my order and refund. You know what the answer is? Sorry, sir, we have another division for the cancellation and refund. We will have them call you back. Is that the experience a customer wants? Absolutely no. Is that the experience what you want your employees to have? Absolutely no. This is the experience that you want your customers to have? Absolutely no. Just imagine if this is nothing but olden days where a file used to literally move from one table to another, right? Please go to that department if you want a refund. Please go to that department and make an application. Please fill up this form. Are we living in that age where people, where customers, where employees are willing to do all this? Sorry, sir. Those days are gone. Those days are not here. Today, it is the day where everybody wants to meet, greet as a form of continuous iteration within the same applications. When I'm attending a Zoom meeting, I don't want my data to be, I don't want to feed in data into Salesforce or another CRM that I'm utilizing. Hey, if my students are coming to the classroom, I don't want to have a different LMS system, or I don't want to enter data into my attendance management system. I want that to happen. Well, similarly, if I am, entering an office, I don't want to use a different access card. Why can't I book my reservation desk or open the doors using the same application what is there and residing on my phone? Why do I have a multiple application? Can I attend a meeting sitting in the back of my car? Those are the thoughts that the employees and customers are having today. And that's the continuous iteration we are talking about. And Zoom is a space where you build the idea. Zoom is a platform. You've known Zoom as a collaboration or just a meeting app. And let me tell you, it is not so. Zoom is a complete collaboration platform, and that's where your continuous iterations happen. You've heard about meetings. Zoom has n number of things after that. It has got chat, it has got phone, it has got events, it has got our contact center, Zoom rooms, digital signages, and all integrating with different technologies such as Internet of Things, IoT, AI, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, and so on and so forth. And for that, we have our APIs and SDKs offered to integrate our platform into your application, into application of your choice. You can bring in Zoom into your application. And that's what my colleague Meher is going to speak about later, which is about bringing in Zoom into applications of your choice or having an option of opening up your own app within the Zoom platform itself. Multiple options, multiple choices, and that's the power of Zoom, where it enables you to bring in collaboration within right at your fingertips within the app, thereby providing a continuous iteration, continuous, asynchronous possibility of doing a business, thereby reducing your churn for employees, friction points for employees. And at Zoom, why Zoom? At Zoom, our action speaks for themselves. Well, all of you know Zoom became very popular in the last 2 years. It suddenly became a synonym. Why? Have you ever imagined? Because we lead the industry, as simple as that. We lead the industry with more than 400 features we released just last 1 year alone. And you know what? To be honest, I have an honest confession. because the number of features that we can keep on releasing, well, like the pace at which we release, I keep on forgetting it myself. It's very difficult for me to remember, keep a tab on it. And how do we do it? We do it in a very simple way. We do it based on three pillars. The first pillar is enabling the future workforce. The second one, connecting work streams. And the third one is empowering and engaging communities. And let me give you a little bit of insight into all three of them. The first one, enabling the future, enhancing the communication. We do this by enhancing the communication and empowering your teams and customers by different means, such as having transcription services. Just imagine, you have your whole meeting recorded. You don't expect your employees to go through it at length, or you don't expect your customers to go through it. Just imagine if artificial intelligence can really pick up the highlights of the meeting and show you only the highlights, and you can scroll through the highlights and highlights only. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Similarly, you have a startup organization somewhere, and today, our government is supporting a lot of new startups and driving initiatives in India. Just imagine you're sitting in the room and, small room, huddle room, three of you founders, members, and trying to pitch to a multinational company of the products and the services and the platform that you've built. Just imagine one single camera picking up the feed and putting it on three different things. That's again an AI in picture. Similarly, serving customers, just imagine when your customer clicks on your website, clicks support, and a support agent pops up online with his face, with the video, with the voice, and takes you end to end on what resolving your issues and challenges are. That's the kind of service that we are looking at. Video, frictionless video, and connecting work in new ways. Just imagine if, and I'll share an example. We have a huge manufacturing company which is manufacturing machinery, and what they have done is they have embedded Zoom. They've made the machines internet capable, and they have embedded Zoom on that. Thereby, when the machines are deployed on the shop floor, and if the shop floor manager finds any problem or needs support, a click of a button, he can fire a meeting and contact the machine supplier for customer support immediately. That's the power of Zoom, and wearable devices and so on and so forth. That's so amazing. The next one is obviously we spoke about connecting work streams. Connecting work streams. Just imagine employees, customers using the same chat platform, right? So if you have a group of employees who are working on a specific project and with the customer, everything deposited in one particular chat, including the customer. Customer might be on some different domain. Similarly, whiteboarding. Whiteboarding is, you write something on the whiteboard, and just imagine all these being available for somebody who's missed the meeting. He just has to come into the chat room and find out what has happened in the meeting at all. Similarly, we spoke about integrations with applications, right? Say your CRM, your social media like LinkedIn, your calendaring, and cross-platform integrations such as integration with some other collaboration tools like Slack and Microsoft Teams as well, firing a meeting from one application and attending from another one. And finally, it's about empowering and engaging communities by bringing in either your applications into Zoom or building a complete custom environment where your customers won't even know they're using Zoom. It will be completely end-to-end your application, your platform where Zoom is fired as a backend for meeting, and people can have end-to-end. We have a very good customer who is doing end-to-end buying experience, retail merchandise buying experience, right from walking into the stores to credit card payments, all happening on Zoom platform. Isn't that cool? If F1 can do it, if MotoGP guys can do it, I'm sure this gives you a lot of insight on what you can do for enhancing the customer experience and employee experience within your organization and for your organization. And that's what we are going to talk about today. How you can leverage the power of Zoom, how you can leverage Zoom as a collaboration platform in your application, in your website, in your environment, in your customer or internal workflow. You think of any workflow, internal or external, and you have the capability of bringing in Zoom into that workflow to sign documents, to interact with customers, interact with employees, capture the data, capture it in the chat, make it available for others, and leverage the power of collaboration and also other technologies which are already embedded in Zoom, such as AI, VR, AR, and IoT. And with that, I would like to sign off. Mukbil, back to you. That's about it from my end, and over to you again.
Thanks, Samir, for the brilliant presentation, which was highly energetic. I really hope that your examples, real-world examples and analogies will resonate with the audience here. And thanks once again for the very energetic presentation. I'm sure the energies will keep flowing. Now, moving on, our next speaker is Meher Ullipalem, Manager Solutions Engineering, India. Now, Meher is Head of Solution Engineering for Zoom in India. He joined Zoom in January 2022 and is responsible for leading the pre-sales function, providing leadership and guidance for design and deployment of complex products, applications, and solutions. Prior to Zoom, Meher was with NTT India for about 8 years, leading the digital workplace solutions practice. He worked with technology firms including Wipro, AGC, etc. in his career. He's consultative sales and solution-focused specialist with a very strong expertise in UCaaS, CCaaS, and digital workplace domains. He'll primarily dwell on how to build, partner, and experience with Zoom. He will also talk about the Zoom developer platform, its capabilities, tools, and resources that are available for developers. Over to you, Meher.
Thank you so much, Mukbil, for the introduction. I'm very excited to have you all in our session today. Thank you very much for taking your time out. So what we are going to talk about today is the Zoom developer platform. Right? What is it? Right? It enables developers, service providers, ISV integrators to embed Zoom core technology into their products and services. It is all, for all those who wanted to embed video communications and empower their applications and services. Right? That's what the Zoom developer platform is all about. Right? What are the tools that we have? Right? There are different tools available. Some of the tools will allow you to integrate Zoom into your applications, or you can embed Zoom, you can bring in your application and host it in the Zoom marketplace, and you will be able to fully customize your app, your native user interfaces using the Zoom tools that are available. Right? We will talk about each of them moving forward. Let's look at the software development kits. Right? We have 2 kits available. One is Meeting SDK, other one is the Video SDK. So the Meeting SDK provides you the familiar Zoom user interface, while the Video SDK allows you to customize and provide the native UI that your app provides, right? And each of them have their use cases, and we will look at those use cases moving forward. Let's look at the Video SDK. We will provide you the raw feed, and this raw feed can be embedded into your native user interface. Right? And you will be able to offer a fully customizable video-based experience for your users. There are great use cases in retail, gaming. We will talk about them. Right? So you will also be able to provide rich functionalities, right, within meeting chat, with live streaming, with screen sharing, so that you can engage your audiences in much more fruitful way when they are onto your platform. That's what the Video SDK does. And you can develop with Video SDK, you can extend the product value. Right? You will be able to offer rich experiences for your customers. Right? You will be able to reach much more audiences, offer better services for your end clients. And you can enhance your user experience with Video SDK platform, because you will be able to offer interactive features when they are utilizing your services in a digital world. Right? And you will be able to broaden your service offering. Right? And you can reach to much more addressable audiences you can actually expand your customer base with innovative service offerings by utilizing Video SDK, by embedding Video SDK into your applications with the native user interface that is familiar with your end customers. Right? Let's look at some of the use cases. These use cases spread across wide variety of verticals. Right? We have education, telehealth, wellness. In each of these, you will be able to embed the raw feed. Right? Take a gaming, for example. You will be able to live stream the games. At the same time, you provide the video communication, embed video into the frame so that the whoever is playing, they will be able to interact with other players live. Right? And look at the retail customers. So the retail customers will be able to chat in real time while looking at that video. So it actually provides you the rich video commerce experience platform for users. Right? So you will be able to close the sale much more faster. Right? Similarly, you will be able to build a social chat applications and built in video into it. So your entire experience itself will change dramatically. Right? Now let's look at one of the live example where one of our customers have used Zoom platform to embed into their retail story, right? So they are using this video commerce platform and providing rich customer experience for their end users. Let's look at the video.
Our vision at Browse is to connect the store of the future today. We believe that there should be a divide between in-store and online shopping. Instead, customers deserve the best possible experience wherever.
So Browse removes friction from the shopping journey. We provide retailers easy-to-use technology that helps customers connect to retailers in-store or online.
Q Clothing is a women's fashion company with 3 brands, Q, Dion Lee and Veronica Main. The business has been built on innovation, both in fashion and technology.
After I had a conversation with Shane Linton at Q, he brought up that he wanted to introduce video-based commerce into his business. It was pretty much instantaneous. As soon as we released video commerce, we started to see the results. Our team was able to work with Zoom, find the API easily, that we were able to bring that in and embed it into our experience so that we could bring video. As a shopper, we're able to send you an SMS via the Browse platform, which includes your Zoom link that enables you to jump into your video session. You can either do that via appointment, or you could simply click on the Connect Live button that sits on a retailer's website and launch straight into that session.
With the ability of the Browse Live Connect feature that we can now toggle on our smartwatches in store, we can now connect with customers in real time. The platform is so super easy to use. I mean, anyone can use it, and it's easy for us as stylists, and it's easy for the client as well. It's a push of a button and you're in someone's wardrobe, you're in someone's home, and you can walk her through the store and you can take her through as if she was right in the store with you.
And our vision of Browse is to...
Yeah. So if you look at that use case, it had completely changed the experience of the shopper. Right? He will be able to see the product. They can actually explain the products about it. They can look at the product in real time. They can chat with it. They can see it in real time. So it completely changes the experience of online shopping. Right? So this video SDK uses Zoom's cloud-based architecture. Right? It's designed to provide reliability and scalability. It embeds high definition video and audio into the application. Right? It comes with customizable features, like you can screen share, you can have live streamed it to third-party applications, you can have different video layouts into it. Right? And it also comes with flexible plans, so you can start small and pay as you grow. Let's look at the other one, which is Meetings SDK. Meeting SDK actually provides you the very familiar Zoom user interface, and you can invoke this user interface in any of your applications or the workflows, right? So that your participants will be able to join or start the meeting from the app itself. So you're leveraging the platform, you're leveraging the familiarity of the Zoom user interface across the customers worldwide. That's what the Meeting SDK offers. So it's easy to use. We have many libraries, packages, which allow you to embed this SDK into your existing applications. It's highly customizable. Right? You will be able to customize the user experience and give a custom callback for the users as well. Right? And it offers industry standard authentication protocols, whether it is an internal application facing it to your which can be hosted within the Zoom account of your organization, or you can integrate with third-party applications where you can actually transfer the user access data to them. So we have industry standard protocols securely authorize the users who are using these SDKs. Let's look at some of these use cases here, right? Very popular use cases in the telemedicine, telehealth services. Peer-to-peer interactions, patient-to-doctor interactions can be done seamlessly, within the application itself. And look at the learning, right? Remote learning. Students will be able to start and create instant meetings, access recordings, embed those recordings into LMS platform and refer them, as and when it is required. They can screen share and chat with each other. Right? It's all ideal. It happens one single interface, with which you can do all of this. Right? It comes with noise reduction functionalities. That means you will be able to use this technology in wide variety of environments, right? Whether you're on road, whether you're at home, or whether you're in a highly noisy environments. So all these use cases are possible, and it is applicable whether it is in insurance or banking or wellness and many more places. Let's look at another case reference, right? This is a healthcare story. Let's look at how meetings platform embedding and helping our healthcare customers.
Hey, Robert, how's it going?
You don't have to be in the same room, the same hospital, or even the same city to connect with someone, to care for them. With Zoom, you can overcome limits of distance and location to give people greater access to the care they need. One comprehensive platform that simplifies virtual care, from care delivery to patient education to the business of healthcare. Learn, share, and consult with medical experts around the world. Simplify and streamline workflows throughout your organization, connecting your teams with patients and their families. Zoom brings everyone together, uniting your entire organization around what matters most.
So that's our meeting SDK and healthcare story. Right? We also have APIs and dozens of resources available where you can file queries and get answers from. Right? And it supports multiple languages. You can view code either in Python or Node and Java and modify it and get the relevant data for you. Right? And there can be many functionalities, rich popular features. You can mirror it, whether you want to create a meeting, whether you wanted to delete the users, add the users, or removing the users, or create custom dashboards, for your Zoom environment in your organization. All these are very standard based on REST architecture, and then you will be able to access it via specified URLs on HTTPS. Those are the APIs. And we have many APIs. We have chat APIs, we have meeting APIs, we have web APIs, we have SDKs, video SDK APIs. So the list is very exhaustive and comprehensive. Right? And we also have webhooks, right? To avoid repeated calls, you can actually configure webhooks into the Zoom client itself and get real-time notifications on what is happening onto your Zoom account, right? Any event that is created, whether user is deleted or there's a particular application that has been deregistered, unregistered, all this information can actually flow into the Zoom client itself without you navigating into many different applications while you are working, right? So those are the webhooks that can be used. And apps and chatbots. So there are two kinds of applications that you can build. Whether you wanted to build applications where you can pass the authenticated user data to third-party applications, you can use WAR, or you can use JWT apps to build and use those applications within your Zoom account itself. Right? You can also create chat apps, and the chat apps can be embedded into the Zoom client, so that, say for example, You have a LMS platform and trainings are getting, assigned to that LMS platform, and those notifications can be provided with this chatbots onto the Zoom client itself. So if somebody, the HR team assigns a training, the training notification can be embedded and send it in the chatbot within the Zoom client itself. So Zoom client is where people are spending time, right? They are interacting, collaborating with the customers, collaborating with their internal stakeholders. So if you can provide notification there itself, it is much more easier for them to navigate and take the course immediately. That's what these chatbots are for. And there are many, many different use cases that you can build. App ecosystem, right? We have Zoom App Marketplace. This is very open and secure platform. Right? It is where developers host their applications, provide visibility for their products and services to the Zoom users who are spread across the globe, tens and millions of them, who daily uses the Zoom App Marketplace for their integrations. So it provides visibility, right? You can create your own application by integrating with the Zoom, or by embedding Zoom within your applications and host it into the app marketplace, right? That can be a shared use case. You can take a couple of examples. You can create an app, which actually looks into the number of meetings that you are doing it, create a meeting notes, and sends it as a summary to you, right? So these kind of applications can be made available into the app marketplace. You can also create two kinds of applications, right? One is the public application and other one is the private application. Public application is when you host this app, everybody in the Zoom app marketplace will be able to see it and they can consume it, that app, right? The private app is you will be able to integrate it within your internal business workflows and offer it to your Zoom users. So two kinds of apps that you can create and put it into the app marketplace. So the very rich functionalities comes with Zoom app marketplace. Let's look at benefits, right? First, it provides easy to use solution so that you can accelerate your development cycle, right? You can fasten the development cycle. You can build apps and integrations which enhance your end customer experience. You will be able to offer much more, rich functionalities and experience for users who are utilizing their services, right? And distribution, you can get the visibility and reach across Zoom channels to millions of users across the worldwide. So those are the benefits that you are going to get it from the business standpoint. Right? And look at from the developers, right? They can get a platform agnostic development tool, right? And it is supported, created, backed by the Zoom technology. Right? And we have support infrastructure and the developer relationship programs, right? We will be able to provide dedicated technical support, sample code, and much more so that your development cycle is actually simpler. Right? And we will be able to use, we can provide you extensive documentation and very specific support functionalities with our premium support plans. These are some of the customer testimonials who have embedded Zoom into their business workflows, right? Very, very customizable, and they have seen the benefits of having video embedded into the business workflow and the offering that rich application platform to their end customers. Now, let's look at what are the resources that are available for you. There is a central repository of all the solutions, all the tools, all the documentation that is available for the consumption, right? You can get the support services at the critical moment when you need it, right? You can actually get help for high priority integration methods. So let's look at what are all the resources that we have, right? We have a developer gateway. Right? This developer gateway allows you to access different channels. You can simply create an account and log into it and start utilizing it. Right? We have a developer forum where many of the developers across the community are posting queries, are actually providing updates which you can refer and download the sample codes. Everything can happen from the developer forum. Right? You will have an access to the developer forum. And we have a developer support site, right? This developer support site will allow you to set the content, support articles, which you can actually refer to when you're in the development cycle. If required, you can actually log a support ticket so that our trained resources gets assigned for you to consume those services and move forward in the development cycle. And we also have premier developer support plans. So to assist you with development experts, trained technical resources who actually assist you in building that application, building that integration. If you want to do any custom integrations, any technical queries that you wanted, anything on the Zoom account side that you need, we will be able to assist you, right? And this can also be as per the time zones, right? We have different service styles based on your requirement. You can pick and choose any of these service styles, and then you can opt for this development support plans. We have blogs. People share their experiences. You can refer through that experiences. There are different releases. Even Zoom actually posts their development updates through these blogs. So you can get access to all of these resources on your fingertips. These are some of the URLs, developer URLs. It's all available in the public domain. Please go ahead and explore the Zoom platform capabilities and start utilizing it if you are already in the development cycle, or if you are intended to plan to develop an application in the near future. These are some of the other resources. What's more, let's get started. So please visit the developer forum page, have a quick sign up, access the video SDKs, build the applications, and start experimenting it, and start empowering your applications and services and enhance your customer experiences. So that's all from my side. I'll hand it over to Mukbil back again.
Thanks, Meher. It was a very elaborate and a comprehensive session. I hope our audience benefited immensely from it. Now, our next speaker is Jensis Husu, Channels Solutions Engineer, ISV APAC, Zoom, India. Jensis is the ISV Solutions Engineer, APAC, leading the technical strategy across Zoom's ISV ecosystem. He is responsible for driving the education and adoption of Zoom's developer platform with prospective partners, acting as the engineering advocate on behalf of the ISV partner community. Prior to joining Zoom, Jensis held several roles at Microsoft Singapore and is synonymous with the Microsoft partner ecosystem. He is responsible for guiding a set of strategic partners as the trusted advisor in guiding their technical investments. During his tenure, Jensis has led and landed lighthouse technical wins, successful in recruiting new compete partners and attaining at least 200% year-on-year revenue growth within 2 years of partnership. He was awarded the Worldwide Technical Leadership Award for Technical Excellence, Contributions and Leadership during the financial year 2021, supporting COVID technical solutioning initiatives. Jensis has more than 10 plus years of experience in the IT industry, having served in sales, pre-sales, consultancy, and application development roles in Asia Pacific. Jensis graduated from Singapore Management University with a master's degree in Applied Information Systems, Data Management and Analytics, and a Bachelor's of Science, Information Systems Management. So without much ado, I would request Jensis to take over, and Jensis would primarily be showcasing some curated demonstrations, some demos and tools in action during his session. Over to you, Jensis.
So just let me reset. My name is Jensis. I'm based in Singapore, and I've been working with ISV partners and customers on their journey in terms of extending on the Zoom platform. And what was previously shared in terms of where we have actually seen a lot of growth, even after COVID, there is a lot of use cases where people are looking to extend their reach beyond just where they are located and providing services beyond what they are expecting as well. So allow me to share my screen. I have prepared some demonstration to allow you to better visualize in terms of what you potentially can do with Zoom SDKs, APIs, and the rest of the services that we have from our platform. So just to, before I go into the demonstration, so I think some of the resources that was previously shared. So today, if you go on to your browser and just, after this session, just to take a look in terms of what we have, we actually have very extensive documentation regarding our developer platform. So we also have the different references from APIs to Zoom Meeting SDKs to video SDKs, and how you can actually create different kind of apps, right? In terms of chatbot and also webhook only apps. So once you have access, you can actually go through in terms of the app marketplace to really select the different kind of app types as mentioned. You can actually look at the different options available here from JWT app type that supports server-to-server integration with Zoom services, or you can look at building an OAuth app that allows you to actually add a user-level control to allow them to interface some of the Zoom services and also with third-party application. You can also look at building chatbots to allow better interaction with your users on the Zoom client. With SDK, it allows you to actually extend the Zoom experience beyond just from our client itself. It allows you to embed Zoom Meeting SDKs, the meeting experience, to your end users, be it whether is it a service provider or for the different kind of industry use cases in terms of education, where you're providing virtual classes for teachers, for students to actually attend. From a healthcare perspective, you allow and enable teleconsult easily through your platform, whether it's on the web or mobile. And lastly, with our video SDK, it gives you full control in terms of how you want to deliver the end-to-end experience leveraging on our infrastructure. So some of the use cases with regards to how do people use our SDK, I have worked on a couple of customer use cases, and some of them will be in the area of retail, e-commerce, education, healthcare, or even simple generic use cases like customer support. How do they now able to extend that whole entire Zoom experience on their website? So for example, over here, we do have a very simple kind of retail use case where you have seen similar to what you are familiar with. When you go onto a platform, you click on a product. You may have shown interest in this particular product, as you can see here. And let's say they give you an option to be able to contact an agent. And most of the time when you are actually contacting an agent from these kind of platforms, it either reaches you to a pop-up, right? Where you put in your inquiry and whoever's active will actually pick up the inquiry and you communicate through chat. But we also have seen where customers has take a different approach where they are able to orchestrate and able to add in a video conferencing aspect into their platform to actually better service their customer. So over here, as you can see, we have a button that is to be able to call an agent. So assuming that there are active agents sitting somewhere in different parts of the world, being able to take on any calls that is triggered from that platform. So when I actually click on here, it's going to start a Zoom meeting. So once it's able to locate an active agent, for example, sitting on the back end, and you can see right now I do have someone that's actually sitting on the other side of the world. This might be very familiar for myself. I'm a Star Wars fan. So assuming that Chewbacca right now is the customer service agent that is actually sitting in, for example, right now in US, right? And I do have an inquiry. From what you can see from this platform right now, is exactly the whole entire Zoom meeting experience that you are enjoying right now from this webinar, or the day-to-day calls that you're doing from a Zoom meeting experience. We actually embed the full experience and allow you to extend it on your platform so that it gives a sense of familiarity. There is no need to re-educate users on how to actually conduct a video call, and every aspect of it is actually similar to what you have already experienced and what you already know. So some of the simple things in terms of audio, video. So for example, I'm turning on my video right now. I'm able to actually see me. And let's say, let me just pin myself. You'll be able to see me right now, and we can actually have this conference call with Chewbacca, who's actually serving me on the back end. It also comes with the similar features that you get from the client as well. So for example, in our latest release, we fully support virtual background for Zoom Meeting SDK. So at least right now, when you see, I'm actually right now in my home office, the background looks really messy. I can now enable either a blur background that allows and makes this whole entire experience more palatable, or if let's say I have more different virtual backgrounds available, I can actually select, and it's going to make the whole meeting more pleasant moving forward. Alternatively, people also come and ask me, say, I love what y'all are doing with Zoom Meeting SDKs. It's the full entire client experience. However, I want to be able to provide a more flexibility in terms of how I want to deliver the experience. So in additional from the client experience that you have seen earlier on, we also provide a more smaller estate, which is more like a widget base that allows you to start a Zoom meeting as well, but it doesn't transit the experience from this particular platform to another UI that will not actually disrupt the experience that the customer may have. So in another use case over here, it's also another e-commerce example, where this is actually an apparel platform. If let's say I want to be able to have a chat with their design experts right now, they can actually embed a button. When they click, instead of the full client UI that I have earlier demonstrated, this is what we call the component view, right? The component view gives you a smaller estate where you can actually have a draggable widget that allows you to also have the same video experience. You're able to also connect your audio and video as well and communicate to whoever's sitting on the other end of the meeting. There's also features in terms of being able to share your screen. And for example, in terms of this use case, when you're talking about designing apparel, you should be able to have the ability to share your ideas, any sketches that you have with everyone in the meeting itself. So in my last example for Zoom Meeting SDK, for example, I can also look at something that's already available. And this is one of the websites that I actually took from one of the more popular platforms that I think that is being widely used in India, which is called Make My Trip. So imagine, let's say today, I'm someone who is actually looking to travel from a one-way from New Delhi, right, to Bengaluru. And I'm actually searching the relevant flights. And for example, what better way if let's say I'm actually very certain that I will be able to actually select this, but I want to be able to quickly reach out to a customer service representative on there. I can also now look at embedding this whole entire experience through a button. And instead of full client, I just use the component view as well, just to quickly have that meeting experience to be able to actually contact someone on the back end. So the beauty about Zoom Meeting SDK is that we allow you to extend this experience. Whoever's joining it may or may not necessarily have to join through the web, but because it's actually tapping on the same meeting platform that we have, you can also join the meeting from the Zoom client itself. So for example, as I mentioned, Chewbacca might be sitting somewhere else in the world. So when I switch, I'm actually now joining this meeting. For example, I'm Chewbacca. I'm actually joining this meeting from a Zoom client that I have from my other machines. So you can see that this is actually the Zoom client that we have for Windows. So you can also join comfortably from your client, or you give different kind of options to join via from the web or mobile or other applications that you have. So besides in terms of just Meeting SDK that actually emulates the experience that we actually allow you to extend, a lot of the other aspect on the back end is really about API orchestration. So I think what better way to showcase in terms of the services that we have by just pulling up something that you might be familiar with. We have a lot of different kind of API services on the back end, from chat to account management to groups to users, and even for meetings as well. So I think you can actually look at the services that we have. So besides just SDK, you also work with API to orchestrate some of the scheduling of meetings, getting in terms of some of the meetings information, the data points that you need. So for the meeting that I had early on with some of the demos, I'm actually able to pull and get some of the details with regards to the meeting as well. So beyond just integration with the SDK, let's say from a day-to-day perspective that you need to have a better way of consolidating different data to build a dashboard, you can actually look at the API services that we have and build your own customized reporting or the kind of dashboard view that you need for your organization. So now let's switch gear. So I spoke a lot about Meeting SDK, right? So Meeting SDK is what we do best for Zoom meetings. We give you the toolkit itself. You are able to extend it on web, on native client, whether it's Windows, Mac OS, Android, iOS. However, there are a lot of other different kind of requests where people say that, I love what you do with Zoom meeting, but I would like to have the flexibility to be able to do my own customization with regards to branding, the way on how I want to actually render the different kind of videos, place the videos in different aspects, and for example, to also incorporate other tools to make the whole entire experience better for my users. So this is where we go into Video SDK, right? As we talk about Video SDK, it is something that we only provide you from the audio and video stream to allow you to build a 100% customized interface. However, there is always that question is how do we get started? Besides in terms of looking at our documentation, going to our marketplace to actually download the relevant SDKs that you have and start figuring out. So one of the tools that we have built and you can look forward to is what we call Jumpstart. So essentially Jumpstart provides you a very simple click-through to allow you to have a very simple UI and allow you to fill in some of the information that you want to build a demo app. After you are satisfied with all the information, you can download the code base and start running. Think of it that now we are actually packaging something that you are able to use quickly at day one, rather than you starting from ground zero and start coding from scratch. So now I'm just going to take you through a preview of what Jumpstart looks like. So when I click build an app, it's going to take me through 4 different steps. It's going to allow me to configure, for example, what will be my app name. So let's say test video SDK app. Under the description, I would put an example of creating a customized video experience. So you can go on to the next step, and it gives you the high-level view of the different features available for Video SDK, from audio to video, chat, other features that we have, and meeting controls as well. So I'm actually able to click, for example, if let's say it's going to be a one-way kind of video interaction where I do not allow participants to actually unmute or give them the ability to speak, right? I can just click on hide, mute, and unmute button. I can also then disable allowing users to connect from audio. So these are some of the simple selection that you can click that we actually would configure on the back end and provide you as part of the code base. So next is about branding. So for example, even though this is a demo app, but we provide you a very simple way to actually brand this or to customize and brand this experience, from fave icon to header logo to app image to background image, and also adding links, for example, right? If let's say I'm going to say home, and the link address maybe let me put the Zoom web page, for example, right? It's going to embed that link over here at my toolbar itself. I can also select the color theme that I want for the buttons available here. And lastly, is about which platform do you want to actually download this demo application for. So moving forward, once this is actually is released, we aim to look at providing not just for web, but but for mobile and desktop in the future as well. So once you are satisfied with your configuration, you can go ahead and click download code. It's going to take about 10 to 30 seconds for our backend to actually compile based on your configuration. And we actually download a zip file to allow you to unzip and start running the code in your own code editor. So prior to this, I had already downloaded and unzip and run it in my favorite code editor, which is Visual Studio Code, right? So you can see all the different libraries have already been provided, and also the different kind of code based on your configuration. So you can actually just quickly look at, how to actually run this through the README file, and this is what you're going to get. So this is based on the configuration I did from the Jumpstart tool that we have. So essentially, it's just going to give you a very quick way to allow you to embed a video experience through a video SDK. It also comes with a chat experience as well. But what I want to demonstrate in terms of the video SDK is really about the video experience, right? So when I click start the meeting, you can see that I already have someone that's actually on, that's already logged on to this session as well. I can also start the camera. I can also start another camera to showcase in terms of me appearing from the same room, but imagine that it's actually different users, right? So we also provide abilities for you to actually share screen as well. So let's say I'm going to use, another user is going to share screen with me. So right here, you're going to see that, I'm transiting into a share screen mode that I'm able to see the content. And this is the content I'm actually sharing today, which is part of the event that we are actually in right now. So for Video SDK, even though we don't provide a lot of what you see from Meeting SDK, but essentially it provides you with the key components that you need to build the video first experience moving forward. So next, it's also not just providing you with the SDK and APIs, it's also providing you with real-time updates on the different kind of events and activities that are also taking place. So we also do provide you with a rich set of webhook events that you can actually subscribe to. And this is one of the demo platform that we have to be able to actually receive the different kind of events that was happening. So earlier on, we do have a couple of demos that I showed you from Meeting SDK that were running, essentially that is actually joining, ending meetings. So it actually picks up all the events that were triggered earlier on, and you can actually review all the different event logs, right? From your backend when you actually incorporate webhooks as well. So these are the kind of details that we provide you, not just in terms of the ability to extend, to reach out to our services, but also for you to proactively receive relevant events, activities for your platform to be able to serve your end users better. And not forgetting, lastly, is all about reporting and dashboard, right? So we do have the dashboard that is out of the box for both Zoom Meetings and Zoom Video SDK. So over here, I only have the Zoom Meeting dashboard at the moment. So this dashboard is actually the same as what you have if you are familiar with Zoom Meeting itself. It gives you the whole entire overview of all your meetings that you have conducted over a specific time period. It also shows you some of the relevant information that you need, for example, in terms of where people are joining from, what are the meetings from year to date in terms of the trend, joining from which devices, supported by which client as well. You can also go into meetings to actually go into specific meeting details. So these are the kind of things that we are really providing you so that you can also not just in terms of, have that capability to start and join a meeting, but also at the same time to monitor the pulse and the activities that are taking place in your account as well. Beyond that, we also provide the APIs for you to actually pull all this dashboard information, the reports information as well, that allows you to extend it and build according to what you need or to embed within your own different reporting structure or platform that you have. So hopefully this gives you a better idea in terms of what we have provided for the developer platform itself. So this is potentially, you can take two steps and think, what you can actually extend upon, where are the potentials. And from my experience so far, I've seen a lot of customers, especially from India, are able to now take the platform not just within India, but beyond, and really have that global reach of providing more services and value-added services of what they do, and also start transforming some of the services that they have to other customers. So hopefully you enjoy this demo portion. If there's anything, I'll be happy to take any question as well for the rest of the session.
Thanks, Jensis. And so, Jensis, as previously conceived, we have a lot of questions coming in from the audience. It would be great if you could take them one by one. The first is by Mr. Manish Parekh. He asks, what is your view on digitization versus high connectivity, security, and compute requirements?
So I think when I look at this question, it's really about addressing from a platform provider, not just in terms of us being able to provide you something in terms of ease of access, something that is of high quality for you to be able to connect, but also keeping in mind security at its core is important or imperative in terms of everything that we do, right? And not just that, it's really about now providing accessibility to everyone, regardless whether in terms of whichever device that you have or whichever form factor, to cater to that. So it's really about tackling all the different areas that you have mentioned. And this is what we are striving to do day to day in Zoom here, especially from the whole entire platform story that we have, right? It's really about making it simple for you to connect, making it simple for you to extend, making it simple for you to secure the platform and for you to manage the platform, right? It's actually a very interesting question. But if, let's say, you have a follow-up question to double-click on a specific concern, I'll be happy to address that as well.
Right. The next question from Mr. Parekh is, what are the parameters considered for the best customer experience?
I think in terms of the best customer experience, it's not just purely providing example for now. It's really about us being able to provide a video-first experience, but really taking two steps back and think about the whole entire end-to-end experience of what you're actually trying to do with your customers, right? With video, definitely the benefit of video is to be able to connect, to speak, to get things done quickly, rather through the traditional form of text, through email. But whatever you do around video, it has to make sense to your whole entire end-to-end process as well, right? It's not about just throwing an additional feature, thinking that someone would use it, but how do we now redefine the whole entire process? So that's number one. Number two, how do we educate people around the new process and the new capabilities that you provide so that they see a value to what they are actually doing or what they are using? Then subsequently, it's all about being agile, right? We are also learning from our customer day to day in terms of what and how they are using our platform to develop into different use cases. So at the same time, we are also getting those feedbacks from them and making it better each day for people to be able to actually develop on our platform. So likewise, for our customers, they are also doing that on their end.
Right. Meher, would you like to respond to this?
Yes, Mukbil. See, the customer experience, it actually multifold, right? The moment you are able to address the customer requirements upfront, right? And the moment you are able to enhance the experience when he is, getting in touch with you at different touch points, whether those touch points can be an email, the touch point can be a call center, the touch point can be a visiting a store, right? These are all the areas that you can enhance the experience of your customer experience. And now in the digital world, most of the people are using digital channels to touch base with their organization or to use the services. So providing a personalized experience, context-aware experience on the digital channels can definitely enhance the experience, will provide that stickiness for your end clients to continue to utilize your services because they feel empowered, they believe that you are able to provide personalized services for them, and they will keep coming back. That's where it is always important to empower these applications, to provide rich functionalities for these applications, where you can take the different customer needs and address them in the digital channels. That's
right.
Yeah.
Wonderful response from you, Mayor. Would you also want to add on to the previous question which was asked, which was basically your thoughts on digitization versus high connectivity, security, and compute requirements?
Yeah, digitization need not necessarily requires an investment on the high compute, right? So we have SaaS-based platforms. For example, Zoom is a SaaS-based platform, and all the SDKs and this entire architecture is provided in the cloud. So you will be able to very well integrate this technology into your business workflows, and you can digitize the customer journey. So it is not necessarily every time you need high compute requirements for it. Obviously, security and connectivity issues are of a concern. Now, as far as the connectivity is concerned, Zoom simply works. Right, you will be able to access the Zoom platform, and many of you are familiar with it. During the pandemic, we have conducted karate classes. There are people who attended music classes. There are people who attended, many different things done on Zoom, irrespective of the locations that they are in. Right, everybody moved to their villages, to their towns, but still they're able to get connected. It just works, right? So the high connectivity requirements are of a concern, but you should need a platform which can work at low bandwidths, right? Especially in the rural villages. If you want to expand your services to the rural villages, it's very, very important you choose a platform that can work at low bandwidth seamlessly and offer the connectivity for your end users, right? Security, it's a topmost concern for everybody, right? So that's why we have different authentication mechanisms when we are integrating these applications into the business workflows, right? Starting from user authentication, whether it is external app or is an internal app, we will be able to provide that security that is required for the organizations to protect the data.
Correct. So the next question is from Mr. Paul Arokianathan. He says, can you please throw some light on the enhancement of security?
Yeah, so we have actually done many enhancements. There are end-to-end encryption protocols available that people are using the Zoom technologies, right? There are security parameters that are being brought up where there are securities at the user level, there are securities at the account level, there are securities at the group level that can be enabled for the users when they're using the Zoom platform. And we are using industry standard protocols so that everybody can integrate it seamlessly in a secure manner, right? We are actually meeting many compliance requirements across different geographies, whether it is GDPR or whether it is IRAM or it's FedRAMP. So we are actually, complying to all those protocols, all those compliance standards across different geographies, different, regulatory requirements, constraints. We are able to address it in a seamless way. Right. That's where we are very, very well known, especially in the education and healthcare customers. We are HIPAA compliant. It all takes care of the security of the data that is being flowing through the platform, and we will be able to meet these requirements.
Right. Would you like to add your thoughts to this, Jensus?
Yeah, so I think, like I mentioned, that security is at the core in terms of what we do. And especially during the pandemic where, we are catering to different use cases, and especially in healthcare, the need, or even at government level. So Zoom is actually one of the first platform company that came up with end-to-end encryption, and something that is or was still lagging behind with the rest of the other platform provider out there. So I think for us, we do focus at making sure that our customers are heard with regards to their requirements. And we want to ensure that, while they enjoy the experience that they have from Zoom, but with security in mind, making sure that any end-to-end communication chats are secure according to their needs, whether it's from a global, regional, or a industry regulatory requirements.
Right. So the next question is from Mr. Chandan Relan. He asks, does it support OCR during a video call?
So I think if we're talking about a Zoom meeting today, I think we focus on just the video experience. we don't have a OCR out of the box at the moment. But what I've seen, example for the developer platform with Video SDK, there are ways that we allow you access to the raw data stream where people process it separately with their own OCR services that they have and provide that as an output according to their needs.
Right. Let me see if we have any more questions. Okay, I can't see any more questions. Now I would request, my team to play a short video.
Across the globe, our ISV developer partners are using the power of Zoom to build new and exciting experiences. To help them create, innovate, and deliver happiness to our shared customers, we've created the Zoom ISV Partner Program. As an ISV developer partner, you can extend the value of your solution and provide enterprise-grade, real-time communication for your users by embedding Zoom features like video, chat, live streaming, and screen sharing, or by integrating your application with Zoom. Our ISV Partner Program provides the tools you need to build and launch your applications, including powerful APIs, meeting and video SDKs, and a robust commercial model to get your solutions to market successfully. You'll have the support and expertise of the Zoom developer team at your fingertips. We'll provide you with access to developer advocates and resources for marketing and business development. We will also work with select partners to promote, distribute, and monetize their integrations. We can't wait to find out how you use Zoom's developer platform to elevate your products. Visit zoom.us/ISV to learn how to get started building for the future today. Across the globe, our ISV developer partners are using the power of Zoom to build new and exciting experiences. To help them create, innovate, and deliver happiness to our shared customers, we've created the Zoom ISV Partner Program. As an ISV developer partner, you can extend the value of your solution and provide enterprise-grade, real-time communication for your users by embedding Zoom features like video, chat, live streaming, and screen sharing, or by integrating your application with Zoom. Our ISV Partner Program provides the tools you need to build and launch your applications, including powerful APIs, meeting and video SDKs, and a robust commercial model to get your solutions to market successfully. You'll have the support and expertise of the Zoom developer team at your fingertips. We'll provide you with access to developer advocates and resources for marketing and business development. We will also work with select partners to promote, distribute, and monetize their integrations. We can't wait to find out how you use Zoom's developer platform to elevate your products. Visit zoom.us/ISV to learn how to get started building for the future today. Across the globe, our ISV developer partners are using the power of Zoom to build new and exciting experiences. To help them create, innovate, and deliver happiness to our shared customers, we've created the Zoom ISV Partner Program. As an ISV developer partner, you can extend the value of your solution and provide enterprise-grade, real-time communication for your users by embedding Zoom features like video, chat, live streaming, and screen sharing, or by integrating your application with Zoom. Our ISV Partner program provides the tools you need to build and launch your applications, including powerful APIs, meeting and video SDKs, and a robust commercial model to get your solutions to market successfully. You'll have the support and expertise of the Zoom developer team at your fingertips. We'll provide you with access to developer advocates and resources for marketing and business development. We will also work with select partners to promote, distribute, and monetize their integrations. We can't wait to find out how you use Zoom's developer platform to elevate your products. Visit zoom.us/ISV to learn how to get started building for the future today.
Right. So the good news is that we have more questions pouring in from the audience who seem to be very, very excited about this session and the aspects that that it addresses. The next question that we have is from Rajan Peter. He asks, how can Zoom help an engineering startup?
I think we have many industry verticals, utilizing Zoom platform for embedding into the workflows. We have manufacturing customers, as we mentioned. They are building up applications and workflows, integrating it with the wearable devices, and actually conducting those remote support activities, quality audit and quality control, actions that they are taking it up. So the possibilities are endless. We will be able to integrate with the business workflows. We will be able to offer rich experiences for the users, irrespective of the vertical or the platforms that they are using it. So whether it is engineering, manufacturing, or BFSI customers, we have BFSI customers who are actually doing video banking, right? Who are conducting the enrolling the customers through video itself, right? Providing the what you call relationship management support for the high net worth individuals. So irrespective of the vertical that they are in, we will be able to embed video into the applications and make it rich.
Right. So Meher, would you like to elaborate a little bit more on the use cases that you find really compelling, say for an industry like the manufacturing sector?
Yeah, see, for example, not specific to manufacturing sector, what I'm saying is, say, for example, you take a help desk, right, which integration with how well you will be able to provide the first call resolution when somebody is calling it up, right, when somebody is looking and raising a tickets. So we have done integrations with the applications that are available. I just wanted to play this video. This video provides that, what we have done in that particular space by integrating Zira and the service deck with the Zoom platform. Right. Let me do that.
Install the Zoom integration for Jira and use Zoom Meetings to resolve issues or customer requests faster. Once installed, you can start or schedule a Zoom meeting from any Jira software issue or Jira Service Desk ticket. You can schedule a meeting for later with total control over the meeting topic, date, duration, and more. Once created, meeting details will be added as a comment, and all assignees and watchers of the request will be notified. You'll be able to edit the comment or cancel the scheduled meeting at any time. You can also start an ad hoc Zoom meeting immediately, allowing teams to resolve issues and fulfill requests over video. After the meeting, a summary is posted as a comment. Deliver better service faster with Atlassian and Zoom.
So touch on the, how do we resolve that help desk, right? How do you provide the resolutions? How do you make it easy for people using the platform?
True. Jensen, would you want to add on to what Meher has already spoken about?
Yeah. So I think besides in terms of, some of the integration that we have with some of the popular tools that, you may be using, but also I think if you talk about the same use case in terms of construction, we are also extending with wearable devices that allow people to have remote support, right? So imagine that you have a wearable, you are able to actually connect to someone on the back end with a level 2, level 3 engineer to be able to better rectify and troubleshoot or get even better guidance when you're actually on site looking at an issue. If not, there will be also the other common use case that we see is really about how do we actually have a hybrid digital collaboration platform, whether it's through a team client, or through a wearable device, to foster that collaboration at a more efficient rate and connect the right relevant folks within the organization on that problem itself. So the possibilities of using video are endless. I also have worked on opportunities where not just in terms of wearables, people are looking at having that capabilities in drone to provide real-time feeds, leveraging on Zoom meetings or even on video SDK to provide real-time insights for people to actually make different decisions. Example, in terms of traffic, maybe in terms of defense use cases as well, in terms of being able to have a drone to go and recce different areas to provide that video feedback for them to make better strategic decision in terms of how they want to actually maneuver. So really the power is really at the core in the developer's hand in terms of them creating those different kind of use cases and value added scenarios for whichever industry.
Right. So there is one more interesting question just coming in, which is from Mr. Chand Rana. He asks, what are the various AR VR solutions that you can provide?
So I think very similar to AR VR, this is also an area that we are also trending towards too as well, especially for the developer platform. I can't share much at the moment, but stay tuned in terms of some of the updates that we have on the platforms, in terms of the developer platforms and documentation that we have. But essentially, even with VR, AR, it's just another ecosystem of how you actually connect virtually, right? And I think connecting virtually is not just on video, but you also can explore the audio services that we have through our SDK that allow you to provide different features and functions. But definitely for AR, VR, like I earlier mentioned, stay tuned. We will have more interesting update in terms of how you can actually extend that experience into those spaces.
Right. Meher, would you like to add on to this?
No, I think it's summed up very, very well. It's work in progress. We are working towards it, embedding and improving these particular areas and bringing more use cases into AR and VR. Right. Currently, we don't have, but please, we are working towards it. Yeah.
Right, friends. It's been a lovely session, and thank you, gentlemen, for taking up these questions live. And so now we will head into the panel discussion, and we come to the end of the presentations which were scheduled earlier. Now, thank you, Chances. Thank you, Meher, for really taking up these questions. Now, we head into the most exciting session of the day, which is the panel discussion. And I welcome all of you once again to this panel discussion which ETCIO has organized. And the topic for this discussion is enhancing customer experience and employee experience by leveraging technology. Now, we have heard a lot of discourse and talks and discussions about the relevance and the pertinence of something like digital transformation, which touches all industries across the world. Now, against that context, we really do appreciate the fact that the presence of a robust and innovative developer platform is actually the need of the hour. In fact, this can help developers build applications and create integrations. Now, Zoom's developer platform can aid organizations to embed Zoom into their business workflows in order to create effective engagement as well as collaboration. Developers will be able to leverage Zoom's industry-leading video, audio, and interactive features for building applications and desktop experiences with native user interfaces and create new and very exciting experiences. Now, developers will be able to use tools such as APIs, SDKs, app tools, and webhooks to drive cutting-edge innovation and really create new opportunities for revenue. In fact, these are all points which have been touched upon at some point or the other in the past talks and presentations. And friends and all the audience members here, there couldn't have been a better time to discuss this wonderful aspect of technology, because for today's discussions, we have a very knowledgeable and insightful lineup of speakers. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our guest speakers of the day. It is my pleasure to introduce Arun Chinnachami, CTO of Bright Champs, Utsav Tiwari, CTO BitClass, Meher Ullipalam, SE Manager Zoom. Welcome once again, Meher. And last but not the least, Jasprit Singh Partner, Grant Thornton. Now, coming to the technology leaders first. My first question to you is, Arun, really would want to understand your thoughts on the digital transformation of organizations, particularly in the context of a post-pandemic world.
So how I see is so if you take the today's market itself, it's very unpredictable, volatile, right? The only way you to stay contextual about is you have to invent and simplify your old processes, take advantage of the how agile you are, right? So when once what was once considered the whole digital transformation, what was considered as a strategic advantage, it's now it has become more of a necessity for business continuity itself. During the pandemic, that's what we saw. There is no optionality to it. So if you look at the whole pandemic, it definitely did accelerate the whole digital transformation. It was actually more of a survival itself. If you cannot digitalize your company, you are actually struggling to make your business continue. So where the pandemic definitely has actually sped up this whole digital transformation, especially in very traditional businesses like, let's say, education, medicine, schools and food industries. Everything actually got transformed a lot during this pandemic, right? But what I see today is though that the whole adoption has been sped, it has been rapidly developed in the last 2 years, and still the companies are yet to get the maximum benefit out of this transformation, because it was more often than it was done very superficially. It's still I think digital transformation is, I would typically say that it's a more of a cultural change in the company. We have a long way to go. I think we are a long way to go and benefit the maximum out of it. But definitely the post-pandemic or the pandemic has actually made a tremendous help in transforming all the companies, right? That's how I see that post-pandemic and the pandemic eras.
Right. So Arun agrees that the pandemic has really pushed the digital and the digitalization agenda, although he does agree that a large part of it has been superficial and there is a long road ahead. Jasprit, your views on it?
I would probably agree to some pieces to what Arun said, but a consultant would never 100% agree with everything that's being said. I think the single biggest piece on why digital transformation is important today is, I think it improves your odds of success. A traditional business today cannot survive. Very, very sorry. Whether you put technology at the forefront or you put technology as an enabler, if you go through a digital transformation, your odds of success are improved. And why does it improve? It improves because obviously you make better decisions and you make them faster, right? Gone are the days when you would wait for a report for 3 days, or when you would wait for your developer to develop something. It comes to you in beta, you test it, you send it back, right? As for example, one of the leading operating system players, which earlier used to release, say, a Windows 2003 beta, then they finally said everything is beta, right? Because everything is going through a transformation daily. It helps you increase your on-demand services, become more effective. And finally, I think the last piece is it helps you define what is your top priority from a business perspective. And IT platform actually becomes an enabler for you to do things faster and better.
Wonderful point coming from Jasprit, my friend, who says that, there is no other way except to go digital, and traditional enterprises and businesses risk losing that really competitive edge. Utsav, your opening remarks on this.
This whole term digital transformation is a very abused term across the industry. For the last 20 years, everybody has been talking about going digital and whatnot. I'll just focus on a couple of tactical things that I've seen in the last 2 years. Is that things around being remote and being able to work from anywhere has become more mainstream, more acceptable, and the whole ecosystem around that, whether it's the use of a tool like Zoom or any other collaboration tool, more than a fancy thing that a company might follow, it has become a necessity. As simple as that. And soon enough, now it has become a part of our life, so much so that we have labeled it as a productivity thing. It's a good thing. It's not a vanity thing that people used to talk about 5 years ago. And that to me is the biggest transformation. We have been undergoing transformation for 25, 30, 40 years now. So I don't think I can say anything specific for the last 2 years. This is the big thing that has happened.
So what Utsav is saying, that digital transformation has kind of become a buzzword, a cliche, because he says that it has been going on for 20, 30, 40 years. Now, this is a very interesting and a very, I would say it would ignite a lot of thoughts here, which we will come to later. Now, Utsav, how do you see this technology landscape evolving, currently speaking?
Is there anything specific that you want to focus on?
The entire technology landscape, where do you see it headed? I mean, how is the evolution of technology happening as we speak, particularly with respect to enterprise technology?
Right. So honestly, we have been working more on the B2C things, but from a B2B perspective, I think very, very interesting products coming out of the Indian ecosystem. Where is the technology heading? I don't have very, very specific comments as to, what tactically this is how it is going to evolve. But I think instead of relying on 2, 3, 4 very big or major or established products, like things like you would say, Salesforce was the main thing, that go-to thing. I think people are now relying on a cluster of things to solve problems. There are tools which are solving just one very specific thing. And those are the things that are dominating the market. That I'll do one thing, but I'll do it right. And that is how technology is going to evolve. Even if it means solving just one problem for, let's say, 100 million people. So I think those are the products that are going to win. And that is how the ecosystem would look like.
Right. I'll keep coming back to this line of thought. Meher, Utsav said that digital transformation is a much abused word today. How do you see this entire thing panning out? I mean, there have been critics, and it's good to have an alternative voice here. How would you like to respond to this question?
Yeah, see, while the transformation, as Jaspreet mentioned before and also mentioned before, it is happening since many years, but pandemic was the tipping point, right? It actually clearly accelerated that transformation journey, while people are thinking about it in since many years. There are new ways people have actually adopted. Right. While at the initial phase of the pandemic, it's what you call a short-term measure or a short-term tactic, but now it is becoming a strategy, right? Because you cannot live without it. People have moved, right? People have moved. Earlier, I used to walk into a branch. I never walk into a branch now, right? Earlier, I used to many things I used to do go out and do it. I'm doing it as a user or as an end customer. I prefer to do it by sitting at home. That means clearly there is a shift. The way user accesses the services, the way users consume the services, or their expectations have changed. So the transformation is going to go back, right? We are not going back to the pre-pandemic days, never. So it's only it's only going to accelerate more and more, right? And it will spread across to many different areas. Right. Customer facing side as well as toward internally employee facing side as well.
True. Now coming back to what I asked Utsav, about the fast evolving technology landscape. I think there couldn't be a better person to address this, especially with a consultant's perspective. Jaspreet, you have a pan industry, pan company view.
I think, like I said, and Utsav also clearly mentioned this, we have to take a technology first view, right? We cannot take a view saying, I will develop my business strategy and then think about technology. Pick up any example. If you look at the traditional manufacturing sector, and I call it traditional because it was traditional, but unfortunately, probably they're at the forefront of this entire digital revolution. Look at Industry 4.0, look at IoT. and look at how these are being connected to look at orders of re-level, reordering levels or refurbishment that's happening across the industries. Then look at fintechs, for example, the way they are doing geotagging, right? So if we don't do digital transformation, ultimately the organizations will not get that competitive advantage, right? Once they don't get competitive advantage, they won't be able to serve customers better. Everybody today wants a wow customer experience, but there is a reason that X companies X is because of the CRM, right? Mayor mentioned that he is not walked into a branch. I'm pretty sure he's not walked into a branch because the customer experience with the app, with the bank is simply amazing. But if he had to go through 20 clicks to request for example, a checkbook, he would still prefer walking into a bank, right? So that's where the entire...
Particularly if it is close to your house.
Absolutely. And so I think that is where, I think the digital transformation and the customer experience across industries has to be enabled by technology by looking at, again, a very simple fundamental is how do I make life easier for a common person working in the organization.
Very well said, Jaspreet. And now I would like to go back to, Arun. And so, Arun, we have seen, panelists making a distinction between traditional organizations as well as, between traditional organizations and digital natives. Now, in today's, technology landscape, we see that both are trying to take the digital route. Of course, as Meher said that the pandemic was a tipping point, and but nevertheless, the compulsion to take the digital route is there. However, my question to you is, why do you think enterprises today need a digital first strategy?
Okay, so that one, so if you in general look at, I think Jaspreet mentioned about, having a technology first view, right? Where I typically, agree or disagree to that, it's about, consumer and the problem first view, right? I think, Jaspreet mentioned about it, we're trying to solve finally, traditional organizations or, new organizations, everybody's trying to solve a particular pain point for the customers. Finally, that's what the business is about, right? So if I look from that perspective itself, it's the digital transformation, also mentioned, it has been, people have been doing it for a very long time. And they have been trying to do a very simple, probably they were just trying to replace this paper with the system, right? But unfortunately, the tipping point of pandemic, it's what is happening now, people have started thinking about, how can I think ground up, right? How can I actually think, what it means for the digital transformation? It is all the systems which they did, moment, employees needs to be, working from home. So if I think from that perspective, I feel that it's not about digitalizing existing process, but it's about now traditional companies are also realizing that we need to actually think ground up. That's where the original digital natives are actually doing better, right? Because they don't have a baggage to carry. They're able to come up with a process which is actually optimized for the digital era, right? And like I mentioned also that it is not about a project. A lot of people used to consider that a digital transformation is a project, right? I'll do it. This is done under I'll be digitalized. But it's more about it's a philosophy or the discipline within the company which needs a change, right? Now if they're top down, I have digitalized everything, but does not mean that all the employees are going to adapt it. The biggest problem in digital transformation is actually I find it to be the adoption across the company. That how am I going to make every employee, every customer, train them, make them use that process? Because I could do lot of stuff. I will have gigabytes of data, terabytes of data. But if that data is not going to be consumed by employee to actually take a business decision, finally the data is of no use, right? That's that way, I feel that the only difference, the primary difference between a digital native and the traditional organization you mentioned is that where the digital natives don't have the baggage, they're able to iterate much faster. They're able to take it it's a first thought itself is digitalized. But the traditional organization are still going through the process of how can they change the inherent culture of last 10 years, 15 years of accumulated culture. How can I change it in order to actually leverage the complete digitalization, right? So what I see is that it's about top down. It's need to be a much larger cultural change which is necessary. That's why the lot of leaders, lot of effort is going into keep have an open mind, iterate the processes so that you find that optimal one, right? That's probably my take on this whole thing, sir.
Right, very pertinent point coming from Arun, that there is a great need to adopt a problem first approach, which is a point well taken. Now going on to Utsav and bringing him into the discussion. So Utsav, we would all agree and also appreciate this fact that today organizations need to be really innovative and competitive in order to survive. We have so many startups, so many new companies, so many disruptions coming into the technology landscape. Against this context, how can a robust, innovative developer platform help companies retain their competitive edge?
I can probably give a few examples here and then talk about it. So your question was how can robust platforms help in retaining your customers? I think it's almost like if I use the right materials to build my infrastructure, it will never collapse, it will never crumble. My user experience will be solid, and that itself translates into a great user experience. I don't think users, whenever they download an app or visit a website, or they're looking for too many things. They're looking for a solid, consistent experience. That's pretty much it. I can take Zoom's example. I mean, when we shifted to Zoom, that was our only expectation. We are building a classroom. We don't need fancy things. We just need the video to work, the audio to be clear, and to handle those little network disruptions. That's it. So it's a very fundamental realization that I think any platform, the developers of any platform, if they realize, I think they can build a very, very robust platform that can help companies like ours to retain our customers. I think it's almost like building the right brick and mortar, the right foundational stuff.
So Arun, from a technology practitioner's point of view, what are the challenges that you foresee, which are there as organizations and developers try to build applications, create integrations for effective engagement and collaboration?
So if you take the challenge of the digitalization platform itself, right? I usually like I said, it's already adoption. How can you adapt a non-tech group of people to actually adapt into that in digitalization, right? I have seen examples you move a button from one part of the screen to another part of the screen, you get 100 tickets saying that that button is missing, right? People don't realize this is a group of people who have never always know that that button I need to click. So that adoption cycle, if I look at it that's a much bigger problem, right? And then like I said, digitalization is not it's not a project, it's a living and breathing organization. That's how I put it. So it's about you need to find the right problem which you want to digitalize as well, right? Lot of times we just say that digitalization or digital transformation, but it's a very broad term. Probably that are you going to transform your supply chain? Are you transforming your class experience? Are you so it's our CRM processes, it could be a multiple different stuff, right? So a lot of time I see that digital transformation as a project failing because you have not identified the right problem which you want to transform. The another thing being the the adoption itself, because it's if you have an organization is actually around 5,000, 10,000 people, it gets very difficult to go and adapt, right? That is probably the two things around the organizational challenge. But if I come into the developer challenges, I think Utsav also mentioned, right? There was a time, if I think about it, people are buying a software, you just deploy it and then use it, right? There was no customization, people are happy with it. That's what transformation was. But right now, if you look at it, it's about almost all the platform comes with the developer APIs, webhooks, which let you customize the platform itself, right? Which gives a couple of abilities, right? It's not that if I am just using out of a box software, everybody is actually having the same software, right? I don't have any competitive advantage over my competitor or somebody else. But the moment I have a developer platform, now I can think of a solution or a use case which that initial developer themselves have not thought about. Let's say think of a CRM or Zoom or anything else. Now I can actually effectively extend it that through the API and webhooks I can actually do, so for example, I'll take Zoom itself, right? Zoom is built for a general collaboration, right? But if I talk about Utsav and in our case as well, we are actually trying to teach kids through teachers and student interaction. Now there are use cases around how much time the class happened, what happened, did they leave, was there a screen share happened, and there is a lot of customization which is necessary, which is specific to a classroom setup, right? Now, if I have to go with Zoom as a built-in one platform, one software, I think then I'm going to have a very suboptimal experience to the both of them, right? By having this developer platform, APIs and webhooks, now I can actually customize the Zoom itself to use effectively for a better engagement for my specific use case of how to give engagement for my teachers and kids, like students. So that's where I see that whole why developer platform is critical in the platform. One of the major thing as a developers, what the critical problem goes through is that probably I'll say that it's a support and lack of documentation, right? Most of the times a lot of people have a good they give you APIs and webhooks, but it's very difficult to find out what it really means, what I can extend, what I can use, what I cannot use, right? So from the developer side, probably the biggest point will be that what is your capabilities they provide, do we have a right documentation, do we have a right support from either from the company or forums and something like that, right? So from the developer point of side, I see that this being the bigger concern in developing stuff. Organization, we already spoke about adoption and then finding the right problems.
Right, very pertinent points raised by Arun. And now I would like Utsav to add on to this, what challenges he foresees.
So when you say challenges related to a developer platform, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, typically I think it could be, primarily around documentation a lot of times, simply because the platform might be releasing a lot of new features, a lot of customizations on offer for developers to use, but the documentation might not be up to date. It's a very simple thing, but goes a long way. So it's almost the adoption of the platform is not up to the mark. That is one big challenge. And then apart from that, again, use case by use cases, typically the adoption, the onboarding process to a new platform is always challenging, right? There's always a little bit of hesitancy. You already have a system in place. It's working. It's fine. There are a few gaps here and there, but I really need to make that big jump to the next platform. Sometimes it also feels like, coming back to my original point, where there are a lot of platforms trying to solve one single problem. So you have to stitch them all together so that they work coherently, and in the end, the user experience is unified. That becomes a kind of a challenge, where in the backend it's a massively chaotic setup, but still trying to solve for that user problem that we have. So interoperability is probably the word I was looking for. So these are some of the common things that I feel are the challenges that we face looking at a developer platform when we have to maybe get started with it or scale it or customize it.
Right. Very interesting points coming from you, Utsav. Basically, you spoke about, you also agreed with Arun on the aspect of documentation and support.
Absolutely.
And you also spoke about the need for interoperability and how, with so many people trying to solve one problem, it can be, how do you really decide on taking that huge jump, which is a very, very natural concern for coming from an enterprise. Now we will go with all these challenges to Meher for his inputs. But before that, I would like Jaspreet to add, if he wants to the present discussion.
I think some excellent points raised by Arun and Utsav. But again, look at a traditional business. Why are we talking about developers? It's because we can give customized solutions. One shoe size does not fit all. You go to, for example, if you go to buy a car, right? There are thousands of vendors. You go to a vendor because this vendor will customize the offering to me, right? And that's what users are looking for, is an experience that I can customize myself. And that is where platforms which allow developers to become innovative will then get a competitive advantage, right? Sorry, but how many times do you go to a doctor where you see just MBBS written? You don't go, right? You look for super specialization. That super specialization comes in because you get a lot of customized treatment, right? It's not that as if you've got a headache, please take Disprin, right? So some of these developer platforms will actually help you do just that, is to customize your product according to the audience that you're trying to please, and thereby giving a wow factor to the customer and win-win for everybody in the industry.
Right, excellent points, Jaspreet. It seems you are bent on forecasting an extremely bleak future for traditional enterprises.
That's happening, right? Either you were on the digital bandwagon, or you would be dead by now, right? You would be somebody who also ran the race and never finished the race.
I don't think anyone would disagree on that. Meher, I would really want to bring you into the discussion now. You have seen, various points coming from the technology leaders here about the challenges that they foresee. Now, your response to all of them.
Yeah, interesting points, Arun and Utsav. Good analogy, Jaspreet, on it. See, for any initiative to be successful, we need to look at how it is going to affect the outcome. Right? The outcome can be in two places. Either it can be a customer experience. Are you able to, with this initiative, are you able to, increase the stickiness of the customer? Are you able to generate, more context-aware services? Are you able to provide it to the customer? On the other side, if you look at the employee experience side, are your employees are going to be more productive, by adopting this initiative? Once we finalize or ascertain on that outcomes, yes, we will be able to achieve those outcomes. Then, putting and going and executing it, right, and putting it to practice. This is where all the tools that come into handy. This is where your developers requires that assistance, right? You need a simple to use it platform, but at the same time, you need an assistant when they're stuck in a critical phase of the project, right? So you would need tools, documentations, you would need community forums, because these are all custom applications, and every experience is different, every use case is different, every customer journey is different. So you would need a forum to exchange ideas, right? So those are all very, very important aspects. And
right.
Third is the resistance to change that comes from users. Both Utsav has mentioned about it and Arun mentioned about it. So for resistance to change, you need to address it. You need tools inside it. You need processes. You should be able to train the users, and then it becomes effective, and you will be able to generate what you would call the required outcomes once it is executed. I think absolutely. So from the Zoom standpoint, we spoke about it before. We have all the tools available for the platform to customize it, to alter the outcomes, very flexible, and support as and when it is required for the people who are developing it and engaging into into those activities.
Right. So where, there is, sticking on to the topic of Zoom's developer platform, it would be great if you could elaborate a little on the business and technical benefits that can be derived out of it.
Sure, definitely. See, the biggest benefit is, business benefits, if I talk about it. You will be able to extend these capabilities to much more broader audience, right? As Jaspreet is mentioning, the traditional businesses have a different set of customers, but now the new age customers are all, coming through different channels. So your customer base is increased, right? So with this platform, you will be able to reach different customer segments, the different profile of the users, right? That is one. So that means you are tapping into additional, market which was not available before. Second, by leveraging Zoom, you are actually having that reach of hundreds and thousands of users across the globe who are familiar with that user interface and who are using it in daily lives, right? That's the biggest advantage. That straight away addresses the problem of resistance to change, because you're not changing the user interface at the end. You're offering an enhanced experience on a familiar user interface. That is the biggest advantage, business advantage that people will get, right? On the other side, if you look at technology side, right, we have all the tools available. We have platform agnostic tools available for developers to work. We have extensive documentation that is available, right? And we have developer relationship forums, right? And programs. which will help you if you get stuck in the project life cycle, right? And there are sample codes that you can use, that you can test it out in as and when it is required. I think these are the biggest advantages. Having an open platform which provides the visibility when you use it, across the market segments, across the geographies, across the different profile of the users, right? Everybody uses Zoom today, right? Whether it is a small school-going children or, you look at a senior citizen, everybody, the reach is huge. So that's the biggest advantage that I can put forward.
Right. So Meher, I would really want to make the discussion a little more granular. And so therefore, my thought is, how can developers leverage the Zoom developer platform for something like innovation?
Yeah. See, as mentioned, we all have necessary tools. Please go ahead and register yourself, right? You will get access to all these SDKs, APIs, webhooks, right? And you can experiment with them, right? The innovation is you would need to constantly, go through different, phases of it, right? At every phase, you will see whether it is meeting the business requirements, right? Whether it's meeting the technology requirements or security requirements, then only you will be able to put it into an execution, right? So we are providing all necessary tools, support, documentation, flexible plans so that people can start small and go, right? And it's platform agnostic. It is applicable for different verticals, right? Whether it is manufacturing, banking, learning, retail. So the platform is, and it is capable of providing what you call a rich experience, and you will be able to embed video into your business workflows. What else, which is the platform which can provide so much flexibility, right? You will be able to do and bring in innovative solutions. We have a couple of customers, there is a digital stethoscope that has been integrated with the Zoom platform, right? We have seen the video commerce use case where, customers are able to chat in session, real time with the retailer while they are sitting comfortably at the home, right? So there are use cases are endless. It's up to the imagination of the people.
Wonderful point, Meher, that imagination is the only constraint today. Wonderfully put. Now, coming to you and sticking on to you, Meher, for the time being, and really want to know your perspective as a technologist. How does Zoom visualize the evolution of the technology landscape?
Yeah. See, we are not going to pre-pandemic world, right? Every element, everything will have a virtual element into it moving forward, right? Whether you are shopping, whether you are learning, whether you are dancing, whether you are teaching something, whether you are banking, everything will have a virtual element inside it, right? And the technology is going to change the way we shop, we learn, we socialize, we work, everything is going to change, right? Moving forward, what I foresee is the programmable communications is going to pick up pace, right? When I say programmable communications, the value of providing a tool, right, which can actually, what you call, to make the communications between the business applications, right, and into the workflows is much more powerful, which you can do it only with the programmable communications, and it is going to be more prevalent, right? Most of the decision makers are going to expand the scope. Earlier, it is limited only to collaboration platforms, but this scope will be expanded. You will have video into it, you will have chat into it, you will have social media messaging into it, right? And it will expand it to contact centers as well. Today, you can actually offer much more customer engagement channels, much more effective customer engagement channels, which will provide that experience for the end customer. So it will actually move towards that direction, right? There will be a big push in making the collaboration and the business workflows integrated tightly to provide experience both for the employee experiences as well as for the customer experiences side.
Right. So quickly moving on to Jaspreet. Jaspreet, how do you, your thoughts on this? How do you see the entire technology landscape evolving in the future, going forward?
I think Meher probably it would be a repeat of what Matt said. Technology is going to be the forefront of all business decisions. Collaboration platforms are here to stay. See, there are two things. One, we accept a fact, move along with it and start working on it. Or we keep ourselves in denial and say, this will not happen, this will not happen. So I'm a huge fan of, I was a huge fan of WHO reports. One of the reports said that in 2019, the report said that a pandemic will affect more than 10% of the world. The probability was less than 1%. 2 years later, we've had a pandemic which has affected, forget 10 countries, it affected the world, right? Similarly, the faster the companies get on the bandwagon of using collaboration tools, start using some of these tools for increasing their technology enablement, whether it is in-house, like Arun said, to the delight of the user community who's working, or or using it as an innovative and competitive advantage for the customers. So technology is here to stay, right? And this digital transformation, though COVID gave it a big impetus, but I think the next 3 years, it's going to probably double or triple the size of the economy and the numbers that we're talking about.
So digital is here to stay. Wonderful statement coming from my friend Jaspreet. Utsav, your views on this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think very much concurring with what Jaspreet said, it's here to stay, and it's a survival thing, I think, for most companies. It's going to be at the forefront of most companies. So most companies would identify themselves as technology first or data first, whether it's for defining their processes, improving their processes, improving their customer experience, making it more tailor-made, etc., etc. I think those are going to be very baseline expectations when you visit a website, when you download an app, whether you use an enterprise tool. I think these things would become very normal for people to expect that it should function this way, it should be scalable, it should be stable, etc., etc. And which means in turn that people who are building these have to match those expectations. So very, very much here to stay, and maybe a bigger chunk of the workforce would now be more empowered through technology. So a lot of new kinds of jobs also might be there on the horizon. We are already seeing it.
Right. Very interesting points. New jobs, new horizons, and digital is here to stay. Very relevant points coming from Utsav. Arun, your views on this?
So, like way I see is any company which is starting today is digital first, right? They're not even thinking of anything other than that. I concur with Jaspreet and Utsav said, right? That's a reason that more or less if you look at in the last 2 years, the new fintechs are going and acquiring the traditional finance companies, right? Similarly, the new edtechs are actually going and acquiring probably a 10-15-year-old education companies, right? It's the people who are not able to adapt to the transformation of the digital, they are actually being bought by the new age companies which are actually scaled up and probably they're more efficient and scaled up with the digitalization, right? So that is actually not only it's going on across all the industries. It's not only education, medicine, or finance. It's happening in manufacturing. So that because of the transformation itself, if we cannot stay on the bandwagon, like Jaspreet mentioned, you are actually becoming obsolete, and you are getting consumed by the new age companies, right? So that's definitely the way to go. And way I see it, any new company which is formed in last 4 or 5 years are anyway digital first. I don't think that they are thinking of traditional pen and paper anyway, right?
Wonderful points that and this is one common refrain coming from all the panelists, that going digital today is a matter of survival for most enterprises. And as Jaspreet spoke about this again and again, that traditional enterprises particularly risk losing their competitive advantage over a period of time if they don't really digitally transform themselves or take the digital route. Excellent views coming from all the panelists, and it has been wonderfully insightful discussion, and I must thank the speakers for their valuable time and insights. Now, before wrapping up, we would really want to take a few queries, doubts, and questions, because we have the time to do that. We seldom have this kind of a bandwidth. So since the opportunity is there today, let's make the most of it. And the first question that I see in front of me is from Milind Narayan Datar. His question is, what profile of programmers be appointed for the coding of the APIs into our applications which are based on Java? I think Meher would be the most suitable person to respond to this question.
I think I'm not sure. I think any application development background, the people in the software development industry will be able to, use the APIs, and these are all standard, standards that are used by many different, software developers. So I don't think any specific, a specific profile of the users in, which I would recommend. I think it's in general any software development person who has an experience will be able to do it.
Right. I think the next question is far more relevant to our discussion, and which is from Paul Arokyanathan. Now, and for this, I would first particularly want to go to Jaspreet first, because it touches a subject that I know is close to him, and which is security. So his question is, can you please throw some light on the enhancements on the security front? Jaspreet, your favorite subject.
Yeah, it's my favorite subject, but the context is slightly different that we're talking about. Very important, right? I think Arun and Meher said also echoed the fact about traditional businesses. Let's answer this probably by taking an example, right? There were times when, for the last 10 years, banks and telecom operators had the better of our lives trying to get a KYC done, right? Fintechs came, they said, let's do video KYC in 30 seconds. Something that used to take a week is now done in 30 seconds, right?
True.
Add the security layer to it, right? All the videos are encrypted, right? So security is going to be a very key piece when you look at your digital transformation. So if I were to put your digital transformation into 3-4 journeys, I would look at my internal users, I would look at my customers, I would look at the tools that I bring in, and I would look at a layer of security around all three pieces, saying who's got access to my data, what kind of access he's got, and is the access required or not in the first place. I think if we stick to these 3 or 4 basic principles, security is a given. Any digital transformation, again, would need to have security and privacy in that order as a pillar that they would need to take care of and not use it as an afterthought.
True. Meher, would you like to add on to this?
Yeah, absolutely. Very well pointed, right? How you are protecting the data while it is while it is in rest or in transit makes it very important for organizations today, right? You should have different security controls with the users who are using it, with the administrators who are actually provisioning those services. Right? Maybe it could be the group level, or it could be at the organization or account level. You should have different security controls should be available, and those are all makes it the platform so comprehensive when coming to the security perspective. I completely agree with Jaspreet. And we have all the relevant tools available. We have end-to-end encryption is available. As I mentioned earlier, our platform is meeting the regulatory requirements and compliance requirements across different geographies and different industry verticals as well.
So Arun and Utsav, any thoughts on this, particularly from the perspective of technology practitioner?
Makbul, one thing to add, coming from the developer API perspective to the privacy and the security, right? Where the platforms do give it. Again, the extension of the APIs and stuff like that. One of the use case I see is because we deal with kids, right? Kids from grade probably around age of 7 to 16. The one of the concern which comes around is the recordings, and then how the data is handled, and because European US market is very specific about this privacy around, and even the PAI much more higher for the kids itself, children's, underage children's. So I think that just want to bring out the example of how you can use APIs in order to scrub the data, you can actually scrub your recordings. You can make sure that all the privacy PII data are actually properly encrypted. So I think we have been using Zoom for almost 2 years now. That we have the ability to actually use the APIs to actually use it for auditing, scrub the data. These things have been pretty useful. Just want to add it up to the developer layer to that privacy concern. But yeah.
Utsav, you want to respond or?
No, I think Arun kind of covered the exact same thoughts that I had, so I don't have anything new to add there really.
Okay, no problems. The next question is, I would particularly want Meher to take this up, and the question is from Mr. Rajendran. He asks, what is so special in the security or encryption methods used in Zoom as compared to the other platforms?
Oh, well, there is nothing special as such, because all these security protocols are standard, right? We do use 256-bit encryption, and it is the industry standard for anyone. Having an encryption doesn't solve the purpose, right? How do you actually using it? The biggest threat comes from the users who are using the platform. To be frank with you, right? If the users are need to be very careful too, right? Am I able to suspend the participant activities if required, right? Because you never know, because there is a platform allows you to chat. The very well use case that Arun has mentioned about it is one of the circuits, right? When they are using the platform, they can type anything because the platform allows. The chat functionality is meant to facilitate the interaction with the teachers, but you can very well type anything. So are you able to suspend the platform activities, participant activities if required, right? Do you have the ability to enforce those controls at the teacher can do it online. So these are the things which actually makes it much more secure, the platform more secure, ability to enforce those controls at the user level, right? But otherwise, we follow industry standard protocols, industry standard security controls are in place.
It's like asking between Honda and Hyundai, what kind of airbags are better? It's an industry standard, right? So you only know when you get into a crash.
I must thank Jaspreet for keeping the conversation really very interesting and interactive. And this, we have the conversation has been so engaging, so insightful. Such wonderful comments have been made that I'm really tempted to give some time to all the panelists for their parting remarks before we wrap up this session, starting with Jaspreet.
So I think some excellent points. I took a lot away from what Meher, Arun, and Utsav said. My only comment would be probably going back to what I said first. It's the organization's DNA needs to change, right? You need to talk about digital first, thereby increasing your odds of success in this world. I think that would be my closing comment.
So here, so my thing is even if you're digital first, if you become digitalized, my advice would be that just keep looking for what place you can actually increase the efficiency, where you can look at the smaller problems, fine tune the process, right? Typically, most often than not, what happens is that the first solution which you go through is not the very optimal solution. So I would suggest experiment more often in digitalization, be it customers, employees, do experimentation, do iterations, because typically companies do a lot of iterations towards a consumer platform, I do AB and everything else, but we don't do it internally, right? So I look for improvisation in all the processes. And as a leader, what I would suggest is that all of us needs to be very open, facilitate this good communication between the business and the engineering teams or technology teams to make sure you adapt wherever there is a change possible, right? I think, like I said, the change is what is the most difficult bit. Change management is the most difficult in our organization. So I think more important bit is keep an open eye, keep making sure you fine tune the process and get it right. That's important. Yeah.
Wonderful. Keep looking and be innovative and keep that effort sustained is what is going to yield miraculous results for enterprises. Utsav.
Right. So I think I've been a little alarmist when I've said that, it's a survival thing. It's a survival thing. I think it's a wonderful thing. I will close it on that remark. It's a wonderful thing, right? When your government has created a payment infrastructure, which is the largest and the fastest in the world, my entire life is kind of encapsulated in this one phone. I can do anything and everything. So you can imagine the kind of digital transformation that the life of people has happened. And this is here to say, and this is wonderful. This is great. And I think the companies that keep a very clear mind and focus on solving these problems are going to unlock massive value. I mean, just like Arun said, they can create miracles.
True. The last word goes to Mr. Meher.
Thanks. I think very insightful discussion. As I mentioned earlier, any transformation initiative needs to alter the outcome either for the end customer or for the employees, depending upon the initiative. Right? Then we will have a win-win situation for both for the customers as well as the technology vendors like Zoom and customers like you, right? And the platform that supported us, during the pandemic, like connecting personally and professionally, and the reliable communication platform and like Zoom are going to be the way of life for many, right? And we would like to look at more transformation initiatives which can actually empower the end user experience, which can empower the customer experience. That's what we are looking at.
Empower the users. Wonderfully said, brilliantly put, Mr. Meher. And with this, we come to the end of this panel discussion as well as this conference. Friends, it has been a wonderfully, I got insightful discussion. I personally got to learn a lot, and I must thank all of you for your valuable time and insights. However, we are on top of the hour, and we really need to wrap this up. Thank you all for joining us today. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.